I have just returned from the late screening of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and I have two things to tell you. One, the cinema was almost empty, and two, Marvel and MCU are officially dead. The original idea I had was to make a full review of the movie. However, I changed my mind after I had left the cinema for two reasons. First off, there are people here on YouTube who will make reviews scene by scene, very detailed ones. So I don't want to just copy them. And second, because couple of scenes in this movie really struck me, especially one. So I am going to focus on something that I was thinking about when leaving the cinema. A promotion of a dangerous ideology, which I believe this movie is doing. Possibly without even knowing how dangerous of a minefield that is. This is a spoiler review, by the way, me talking about a couple of scenes. However, I won't be summarizing the story itself, so you don't have to worry about that. In general, we may summarize the premise as standing up to the man. The working masses trying to oppose the tyrant. The revolution against the evil individuals. So, yes, the movie is trying to promote a very left-leaning ideas. We even see the scenes at the beginning of the movie of fighting with the police who are trying to oppress the homeless. And Ant-Man's daughter is an activist right now. So the movie isn't even trying to be subtle to hide the political views of the writers and in general of modern Hollywood, I believe. Another example is a moment when one of the characters splits into an army of identical duplicates. And the explanation is that it is possible because all copies want exactly the same thing, which means all of these small parts of large community discarded their individualism for the collective good. Yeah, like ants or like communists. The collective good is one of the most important ideologies of communism. However, there is one sentence by the end of the movie. This is very mild spoiler, by the way. The scene is when Michael Douglas's character poses something he does to advocate the revolution, which is starting right now, and he says, and I quote here, well, I don't remember exactly that quote, but I think I get it very close to the original. He says something like, I know socialism is a charged word, but I think we could learn a lot from these ants. I was speechless when I heard that. I am Polish and I'm old enough to remember what happened in my country when we were under the communist regime, when we were controlled by Moscow. True, yeah, it was the end of communism, I'm not that old. However, I still remember a couple of things. And I still remember how my country looked like when we were under the Russian heel. At that precise moment, after hearing that quote, I've decided to change my idea of making a standard review and show you guys something. Real photos made during these times, in previous century, when Poland was a communist, I mean not communist, there was never a communist in Poland, a socialist country. This is a photo from March 1968, when Polish Communist Party decided to drive all Jews from Poland. I won't even be translating what's on these banners. Let me just assure you, it is about Jews going back to Israel. I wonder what Hollywood writers and Hollywood executives would do in this very situation. I wonder how many of them are Jewish. This is December 1970. People are rioting in the streets, rioting against the regime, against the government, and police is trying to pacify the riots, and believe me, they weren't doing this in a peaceful way. Unfortunately, I had to censor this image because it shows people carrying a dead body of one of the shipyard workers who was shot and killed in something called Black Thursday of December 1970. 16 people died on Black Thursday, and in the whole December 1970, 41 casualties. The officials who ordered the military and militia to shoot at harmless protesting people were never held accountable. It's a very dark moment in Polish history. Do you know why people were protesting? Because of price increases. People didn't have enough money to buy food. This here is a typical socialist line. People standing in line, sometimes for long hours, waiting for something, anything, to be supplied into shops. This green thing on top of the photo is a food stamp. They were issued by the government, and without these stamps you couldn't even buy some products. This one, for example, is for meat, but those were for many things, dairy products, and sometimes not even for food. That was the real Poland when we had a socialism. A poverty, rioting, terrible conditions, police brutality, lack of respect for basic human rights. This is what we had until 1989, where finally communism was defeated in Poland and we began our long transition into a democracy. And believe me, what I told you about, this is just a tip of an iceberg. There were many riots, many battles, many people oppressed, by the police, by the military, by the government. So now, when I hear socialism in American movie, said by American actors who had no bloody idea what that means, I'm not happy. This is what I was actually thinking about when going home after I left the theater, after the whole movie, was settled down in my head. I was thinking about how dangerous some of these words and things presented on that movie then can be if enough people start following these ideas. Well, maybe the general premise is good against evil. However, like I said, when the good is presented as a mass of small things without individuality against one evil regime, oppressive regime, well, the analogy is very clear here. And look, I could say much more about this movie. I could say a lot about the main villain, who was very unimpressive despite him being the new Thanos, because Kang the Conqueror is supposed to be a new recurring villain for Phase 5. Believe me, Thanos was much more charismatic and menacing. This guy here is, in my humble opinion, he's just stupid with some of his decisions. Ant-Man's character was of course mocked because, straight white guys. Other straight white guy characters were of course mocked as well. Girl power, girls were Mary Sue's in that movie, the usual Disney MCU stuff. Which, like I said, other YouTubers will probably make a much better work than me to review this from the storyline standpoint. Me, I'm just a little bit worried because I didn't believe how much of a left wing the modern Hollywood is in this day and age. I was thinking that this is just an exaggeration. Well, it turns out it's not. I was very surprised how left-leaning Hollywood writers are. And living in a post-communist country, like I said, well, I'm not happy about this. Well, but of course this is just one man's opinion, so feel free to comment and tell me what you think about this kind of approach. So, all things considered, I am not sure if the writers of that movie, they are even aware what kind of dangerous ideology they try to promote. Maybe they try to suck up to China, to to have more money, to earn more money from Chinese market, because European and USA market, they are not very happy with profits from those. So maybe that is the reason, I don't know. We'll see in the future how it looks like. That's it from me. That was content from my content. See you next time. Cheers. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, drop a like and press the notification bell so you won't miss anything I upload. And if you didn't enjoy this, hell, subscribe anyway. At least you will know when there is a new video to actively hate.